Good afternoon and welcome to the Maine Channel. I'm Alex Leonard and here is your news update. Today we have stories for you about upcoming religious festivals, wrestling, and the Olympian who is coming to campus. But first, UMaine's Business School announced a new joint degree program with a Portland law school. Students would work towards business and law degrees simultaneously. This will save up to a year's worth of time and money. Students would attend both UMaine and the Maine School of Law in Portland. Graduates would enter the law field or even manage a law office. The program will begin this fall. Also this week marked the start of course registration for juniors. Sophomores can sign up starting April 6th and freshmen on the 13th. Students add classes to their wish list on the Main Street system, then meet with advisors to get their registration number. A list of fall courses is available through the Office of Student Records website. Also, housing selection for next year begins on Monday. And now one of our own producers, Kathleen Dame, has a story on a couple of UMaine science celebrities. Kathleen?
That's right. Two UMaine scientists got a taste of publicity this week. Paul Majewski and Andrei Kurbatoff appeared Tuesday on the PBS science series Nova. The episode talked about the extinction of Ice Age mammals across North America.
On the show, scientists from all over the world debated how animals like the woolly mammoth and saber-toothed tiger disappeared in what now seems like an instant. Some argued that humans hunted them to extinction. Others said climate change wiped them out. But Climate Change Institute Director Majewski researched the evidence of a massive comet strike.
This is a classic example of how the surface of a glacier can capture an environmental record. You see dust and debris being blown onto the surface of the glacier.
In Greenland's glaciers, he and Kurbatoff gathered snow and dust samples from the ice. These they examined for elements from space and found instead nanodiamonds. These microscopic gems showed a structure not formed on Earth, only by a huge impact.
The scientists found evidence to support a theory but did not come to any conclusions about the extinction, so we'll have to wait and see. Reporting for Maine Matters, I'm Kathleen Dame.
Thank you, Kathleen. A very interesting story there. UMaine's Jewish community also has some big events coming up. Dining services will help offer food to celebrate Passover starting April 9th. Most of the foods include matzo crackers, a type of unleavened bread. The group Hillel is also planning a trip to the Holocaust Center at UMaine Augusta. The trip will take place on Holocaust Memorial Day, April 21st. The group will also provide transportation and admission to the center is free. After the break, UMaine's President Kennedy will join us on set to talk about next year's tuition increases. Stick with us. Welcome back to your news update. Today we have in studio UMaine President Robert Kennedy. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
President Kennedy, you recently had two budget meetings discussing the university's budget gap of almost $9 million. Where do you expect that money to come from?
Well, what we do is ask each unit that has a budget, hundreds across the university, to look at their current year's budget and what the budget forecast is for next year, and to reduce by the amount that we need going forward. So really the budget cut will affect virtually every program on the campus.
Okay, and you know, tuition is going to go up 6%, obviously, to fill some of that gap. What do you expect that will have effect on the students, and you know, even beyond that, how do you expect to relieve the burden for students?
Yeah, well, the 6% increase in tuition will partially offset the budget deficit that we're expecting. But it'll have its impact on perhaps fewer faculty, larger class sizes. Undoubtedly, it will feel its way into less time for advising for students, club activities, and the kinds of things that our faculty do to support our great students. So it really will impact every part of the university. What we're doing certainly is looking at all of the different efficiencies. For example, over the last 2 years, we've saved $4.1 million in our energy expenditures alone. The new way of operating the Cutler Health Center this next year will save about $500,000 and probably more than that the year following. So doing all we can to reduce its impact on students in the university.
You were also involved with the Energy Initiative Advisory Committee this week. Could you just explain to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. One of the national organizations is forming an energy task force, and they've asked me to be on that group. It's a very prestigious group, very important task. University of Maine, we have the good fortune and the expertise to be involved in many different forms of energy research and policy. So it's an opportunity for us to play a role at the national level in helping to chart energy policy and research for the next century, which is certainly one of the most critical problems facing our society and our country.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us, and lots of great information from you as always, and we hope that this can pass soon. And we would like to thank you for joining us, and after the break, we will have a sports update. Stick with us. Welcome back. The UMaine Athletics Department has teamed up with the Harlem Superstars for a weekend show. The group travels around the U.S. performing comedy basketball. UMaine Athletics staff will challenge the Superstars and bring in audience members to participate. The game is at the Memorial Gym at 7 o'clock Saturday night. All proceeds will go to UMaine's Alternative Spring Break program and the New England Blind Athletic Association. Olympic gymnast Dominique Dawes will speak at UMaine this weekend. Dawes has competed in 3 Olympic Games, now tours the country speaking. She will give advice on both health and self-esteem as part of UMaine's Women's Symposium. Dawes was the first ever African-American gymnast to take part in the Olympics. The event will take place at the Memorial Union Saturday from 9:30 to 1. And if your roommate's getting you so angry you want to put him in a headlock, you can get some tips for that next week. UMaine's Army ROTC and Maine Army National Guard are sponsoring a modern combatives demonstration. The groups will show combat techniques used in operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. The event is free and will take place in the Fieldhouse from 10 to 11 on Wednesday. And now, for some sports updates from this week, put together by the staff of Black Bear Nation, Ben Violette is here with more. Ben?
Thanks a lot, Alex. And let's get right to it. Yes, folks, it's that time of year again. Believe it or not, the baseball season has begun. With a new season comes a new playing surface at Mahaney Diamond. Thanks to the new field turf installed last fall, the team is able to practice outside and host games earlier than ever in the season. Fourth-year head coach Steve Trimper says that having a new field will help the guys develop their skills earlier in the season.
It is. You know, for instance, yesterday, we coupled with our defense, we weren't running the bases extremely well. So yesterday we were able to come out here and do a lot of simulation base running drills, hit balls in gaps, have our outfielders work on relays and cuts, practice going first to third. You know, the things that you can go in a dome, we can run first to third, but it's a difference between you're running it and you're actually going through the, what baseball sense would be.
Old First homestand, the players say they love the new surface, but it's going to take time to adapt to the new playing field.
It's really good to see the live BP off the bat. It's really good to take swings on the field, really get used to this field because this field's new for us. I mean, there's not too many tricky hops, but I mean, we got to get used to it.
As spring begins to heat up, the Black Bears are hoping they will too. After starting the season 10-6, the Black Bears are 3-6 in their last 9 games. The baseball team will try and find their winning ways again this weekend when they play host to Iona for a 4-game series. The softball team's been getting down and dirty, but they're happy to finally be home.
Actually be on Kessock. It's a great facility, and to be able to take advantage of that and roll out of your own res hall or your local apartment and stuff and drive over here and go to our own training room and get treatment and stuff. I mean, that's just so important.
The Lady Black Bears struggled last weekend, dropping 2 of 3 at UMBC.
We were disappointed with the start where we only took 1 out of the 3 games against UMBC. We couldn't find the energy in the second day, and so what we've done over this last week is stress the importance of playing consistent and keeping that energy up and keeping the adrenaline up because every one of our conference games means something.
The team will try and wrap up a few wins this weekend when they host a 3-game set versus the defending America East champions, the Stony Brook Seawolves. On to track now, where the men and women's track teams hosted UNH last weekend. The long jump and triple jump were moved inside due to the frozen outdoor pits. This man, freshman Riley Masters, stole the show with his performance in the 5,000-meter race, winning in a time of 14:35, setting a new school record by over 5 seconds. Another win by Miles Bartlett with a strong kick in this one, the 1,500-meter relay, finishing in a time of 3:59. Also contributing was football star Landis Williams with a win in the 100, and Travis Cook with a win in the 400. On the women's side, after winning 14 of 18 races, it was this woman who stole the show, Jessie Lebrec, who contributed with a win in the 4x100-meter relay and this win in the hurdles. Now back to the news desk.
All right. Thank you, Ben, for that sports update, and thank you for joining us today on Maine Matters for your news update. I'm Alex Leonard. Have a great weekend, Orono.